Hi, I'm Marvin Plackett, and today is Tuesday, July 28th. Greetings to all residents, to all staff, to all guests. Good to be with you again. We continue to be unchanged from yesterday. So we have one resident that has COVID. That person lives at King's Crossing. And we have 3 staff that still remain quarantined, of course, because a while ago they came down with COVID and are still recovering. So we look forward to the day that the resident and those 3 staff are able to be fully recovered from COVID-19. And then once again, of course, that means that at this time, here on our main campus, we have no active COVID cases at this time, so our dedicated COVID unit at Episcopal Church Home has been deactivated. I wanted to read just a few excerpts from a lead article in today's Star Tribune. Minnesota's mask mandate challenged last weekend. I'm just jumping in and quote a few sentences here. While surveys show broad support for wearing masks to reduce the spread of COVID-19, State Health Commissioner Jan Malcolm said Minnesotans need to comply as much as possible to prevent the exponential rise in cases happening in other states. Quote, "We certainly don't want Minnesota to experience the same catastrophic results of that very, very fast growth that we see in Florida, Texas, and other states," she said. "We as citizens have a great deal of influence over whether that happens." Later on in the article, health officials hope that the combination of mask wearing, hand washing, social distancing, and staying home when sick will slow COVID-19 growth in Minnesota before the start of the fall school year. Governor Tim Walz is expected to announce on Thursday his plans for reopening schools. So those 4 things, wearing a mask, social distancing, frequent hand washing, and if you have any symptoms, self-isolating in your apartment. Those are the 4 principles that we have been preaching now for months, and we're going to continue to preach that. I mean, that's the message that you hear over and over, reinforced at all levels of Episcopal homes, all levels of our organization, because they really matter. And of course, I know that the wearing of masks has become, regrettably, in our society, somewhat of a political issue. But yesterday at President Trump's press conference, he specifically singled out these 4 things as well. And he said that we need to be practicing social distancing, wearing our masks, isolating if we're sick, and frequent hand washing. And so for those of you that have been hesitant because President Trump has been loath to say that previously, yesterday he said it. So that's a good thing, and so we all need to be fully cooperative. Remember, this virus doesn't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, or Green Party, or anything else. It's going to seize every moment that it can. And, it's really all around us all the time. We just can't see it. It's an invisible virus. And so we have to use the tools, the best tools that we have. They're not perfect, but boy, they sure go a long way to substantially reducing the chance that I'm going to give it to you or you're going to give it to me, all right? And so that's why we all have to be in this together. We all have a social responsibility to our neighbors, all have a social responsibility to one another, to ourselves, to keep everyone healthy. And of course this applies not just at Episcopal homes where we strictly enforce these practices, but it really applies to everywhere that you are engaged in life. So where you pray, where you play, where you socialize, where you might go out to dining, where you might get together with a group. As we know, going outside is way better than inside, etc. Okay, enough preaching from me. We have somebody else to do a little more of that. Okay, good to see you all again, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 1:30. And now for some final words from Phil Rose.
Preach, brother. One of the many losses that we experience because of the pandemic is the ability to do our procession of honor. And here at Episcopal Homes, the procession of honor is an opportunity for us to take the time to stop and pause and to recognize the holy moment that is someone's dying. And the way we do that is that we have a coverlet that has a hand-painted rainbow or hand-painted butterfly on it that represents for us a symbol of transition and transformation. And as a Christian priest, I believe strongly that death does not end life, it changes it. And the butterfly represents that as well. And today I want to stop and pause and remember those who have died in the last 2 weeks here at Episcopal Homes. And there have been 4 of them. On Wednesday the 15th, Freddie Daniels of King's Crossing died. On the 21st, last Tuesday, Joyce Montgomery of Gilbert House. On Wednesday the 22nd, the Reverend Dr. Bob Hardman of Cornelia died. And this past Sunday, Marlis Wollum of Katie's Cottage died. And it is sad that we can't gather together, place that pall over the body, and gather together and offer a prayer, thanksgiving for the care that they've received, and provide some comfort to the families. So it's up to us to keep their stories alive, to remember them. And I have a brief story for you about that. This weekend, our granddaughter, who is 3.5, spent the weekend with us, spent the Saturday night with us. And you may recall that my mother, Jean, died in June. Well, Sunday morning at 6:30, Hazel got up and said, we need to send some cards. We need to draw some cards to give to GGJ to say goodbye. And I thought, oh, that is so sweet. And so she would dictate what she wanted written on the card. And the one was really pretty profound and pretty tender. She said, "Dear GGJ, I miss you, I love you, and I promise I'll take care of you when you become a skeleton." And I thought, wow. And we need to remember each other. We need to tell each other stories and to keep the memory of one another alive. And may we stay close to our loved ones by writing letters to and about them, telling stories, and taking precious care of their memories, especially during these most difficult of days. I mentioned the Reverend Bob Hardman. I just want to say a little bit more about Bob. Bob was in the role that I have for 10 years here at Episcopal Homes. And it was at the beginning of him beginning to have Parkinson's disease, which he dealt with for 25 years with tremendous courage and grace. And he will be deeply missed. He was a wonderful part of this community for many, many, many years. And I'll keep you posted on when and if we will have a memorial for him, but it may be a while depending on this virus. So take care, and I will be back at 2 o'clock for the Catholic service.